Hi, I'm Whitney and welcome to my channel. Today I'm so excited to show you part one of investing into my first investment property and actually purchasing it. Okay, purchased. It's like a huge milestone for me and I'm very proud. January of 2021 is when I started looking for properties seriously, but throughout the process of saving in 2020 I went and viewed some properties also. So you're going to be seeing those properties and the small vlogs that I took at those properties. To begin, I feel like I should do an overview of what I initially wanted when I first started looking. So back in 2020, I looked online and we went and looked at a few properties. The market was very different then. So 2020, obviously COVID was just beginning. People were scared and were putting the properties up online. That was probably a really good time to purchase compared to now because the market right now is crazy. But to be clear, I knew in the beginning I wanted a multi-family home. It could be a fixer-upper, but I'd rather be closer to being done. And I wanted it to be in a specific area and I was only looking in that area. I wanted to be under $100,000. I just had so many stipulations. I can't even begin to list all the stuff. I was like, I don't need help. I can do it on my own. Because I wanted to be able to feel like I did this. But the reality is that you need help throughout the process of doing anything. And if you aren't willing to take the help that you have, then that's just pushing you back even further. So we looked at probably about 20 plus properties, which really isn't that much, but it feels like a lot. I'm going to be showing you about 4 or 5 different properties. And the reason why I'm showing you is because they're different experiences that I think people should have. A lot of time we spent walking through properties. We'd either do something like that or we would do driving for dollars. And basically it's when you drive around whatever area you're in and you look for houses that are run down or need work or maybe for sale by owner sign that you could reach out to the owners and see if they're willing to sell. Driving for dollars is actually how we found my property. This property here had 2 efficiencies out back and then the upstairs unit and the downstairs unit. It was very run down, like probably the worst of the worst. I'm sure someone could do something to it, but for me personally, it had way too much going on for me to be able to viably think I could afford to fix this property up. Maybe in the future I could afford something like this, but it had too much. I honestly love the character that the outside bring. Like, it was great, it was beautiful on the outside, but the inside just required so much work and I wasn't willing to put that in. And for my first project, I wanted it to be a process, but I didn't want it to be so much of a process that it would turn me off from even wanting to do properties in the future. So the reason why I'm showing you this one is because it was a duplex within my price range in a great location. And it was my first property that I viewed with a realtor and the first property that I bid it on. Today is an exciting day because I'm going to go visit a property that I'm very interested in. And it's been on the market for like a day and a half now. And there's already an offer on it. So I'm going to visit, see if I like it. And if so, then I'm gonna put in an offer. So this is my first property where I've actually been able to like really go through the steps of buying the property. Like, it's like, you know, putting in the offer and it's just so exciting. So I loved this one. It had so much character and so much potential.
What appealed to me about this property is that one side was vacant and the other side had a tenant. So I still had earning potential while also fixing up the vacant side. Also, it was very aesthetically pleasing in a true duplex. Sometimes you have to be sure that you're not getting a property that used to be a single family home that people turned into a multi-family home.
I ended up bidding and loving it. So here is our thought process after viewing the property.
I don't understand.
He listed it for what then? 62.
For in January of 2020, he listed for 62,500.
Contract is 60.
It's 60.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's.
And then see where they put it on paper, and then see where they go. Because at 62, he was gonna sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty close to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then see what they do.
we went to Jason's Deli and I sent my purchase agreement in, and it was just really exciting because it was my first time truly experiencing what it was like to go through that whole entire process. It was the farthest I had gotten in the process of bidding, and I ended up not getting the property, obviously, and being outbid, but it was completely worth it. This next property is an auction property, but before I talk about that one, I want to speak on a time when my dad, he was mentoring a group of people. Basically, there was an auction in our town that was auctioned off like 10 properties, I believe, and each one was a single family home. And it was a really great experience. If you have the chance to go see an auction, I would definitely go. It's very interesting to watch. We went through each property and viewed each one. So then the next day we had a meeting and we estimated how much each property was going to end up selling for and how much we think it would be worth. And then the actual auction day, we watched the auction. Obviously it was a long process, so throughout that time we were watching the numbers go up. They started out, you know, at a reasonable price, and some of them ended up going over 100,000. Trust and believe they were not worth 100,000. That experience, although I didn't really record it like I should have, was probably one of the most eye-opening experience for how much money people are willing to spend in this realm of work, as well as just the overall competitiveness. I'm showing you this property though because it is an auction property that I intended on bidding in. Reality was not that. I went to this one with my brother and his girlfriend and then one of my really close friends, and we just watched as the other people bidded. It started off at 105,000, I think. Like it wasn't even the ballparks of what I was looking for. I was expecting it to start off at 50,000, but because it was online bidding and in-person bidding, the people online had already bumped it up to 100,000. And I think it ended up selling for like 160 or between 150 and 160,000. Too much. That was a lot of money for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplex to me. But the reality is that to someone else this was perfect, or they're probably just gonna knock it down and put something else there. Like, the possibilities are endless with what people can do with the properties.
Here it is, dog.
Hey, we got 110, 10, 10, 10, 10. Hey, we got 110. Hey, we put 110. Hey, we got 110. 110 on the internet. 110, 110, 115, 105, 5, 5. Hey, we got 145. 145, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Hey, we got 145. 100. I'd have never thought of that, Spencer. Somebody ordered dinner. What you got? 142.5 on the internet. 145.
So now we have reached my property and how I found it, and I can tell you how I found it. I'm not going to be walking you guys through it because that will be a video for another day, and I want to show you guys part 2 of that whole process. My dad and I have been going to West Tennessee for a couple weeks in a row, and so this particular weekend we went to West Tennessee because I wanted to see how his project was going, and then also I wanted to be able to view properties down there. While we were there, you know, he went to go talk to the contractors and stuff, and then we decided to go out and just drive around looking for properties. I had a few in mind that I wanted to go view, but I didn't contact my realtor in time to be able to do that. We just had to contact those people ourselves, and it ended up not working out. But when we went to go back to check on his property again, we ended up driving by a property that was for sale by owner, and my dad goes, oh look, that house is for sale by owner. And I swear to you, here's my dad's property. This property is like right here. I'm not gonna go too in depth about that because I mean that's gonna be the next video in part 2. But yeah, we went, and it was it needs work. It needs work, most definitely, but it's not a crazy amount of work that it needs. So this is what it looked like. This is the property. So it has those wood slabs on the windows because he didn't want people breaking in, which was smart. That was so smart. I thought that the windows were gonna be broken, but they look perfectly fine. Honestly, I feel like the reason why I'm so excited to share this is because it's realistic. Like, a lot of times when I, you know, watch people online and do different things, I see like people purchasing these $200,000 properties and either single family homes or multi-family homes, and I'm like, I can't afford that. I don't have the money to be able to afford that. So with this and the process that I chose and that me and my parents chose, realistically, it's obtainable and able to be replicated by others, especially for people who are inheriting their grandparents' home or buying their grandparents' home or family homes. Like, it's a doable process, and so I'm gonna be walking you through that with my own property. Oh, I can say it! I done bought my own property. That's so exciting. Anyways, thank you for watching. I don't know how long this video was, but I imagine it's pretty lengthy, so
if you made it this far, you might as well click that subscribe button and go ahead and share the video. Also, comment what you want to see next. Weekly, I post on IG on Thursday, specifically on my story, so you can follow me there for more accurate updates.